Palestinians believe that homosexuality is an unacceptable lifestyle choice. I'm not scared by terrorists, I'm scared by Islam.
Someone chalked "Stop Islam" across a campus building. A student in a pink tank top wants a line drawn. Milo Yiannopoulos refuses to draw it. Stephen Crowder hands him the Quran instead. Then come the polling numbers on Sharia, gay rights, and a woman's testimony. Watch the room split down the middle. One side brings data, the other brings a heckle. Let's get into it.
About a week and a half ago, where someone actually wrote "Stop Islam" on one of the buildings, like really big. They did like a detailed art piece for it. And so, you, Milo, you said the best way to deal with people you don't agree with is to give them the full spotlight. And you, Christina, is you said no intellectual diversity at an institution of higher education. And I'm sorry, you spoke so fast I couldn't quote you. But so my question for you is that in light of Trump coming out and talking against Islam, rates of violence against Islam rising about 418% in this time period, higher than they were after 9/11, which is amazing. They're higher than after 9/11. We saw a lot of repercussions on this campus about a week ago, where some of my friends got beat up, where people got threatened over the Stop Islam. And so I'm wondering where you guys think that opinions turn into hate speech and where that line should be drawn.
Well, Listen to how that question was built. Chalk on a wall becomes friends in the hospital. Donald Trump gets folded in as background radiation. A 418% figure arrives with no source attached. Then the real ask, where does opinion become hate speech? He wants Milo Yiannopoulos to draw that line. Milo has built a career refusing to draw it. Watch Stephen Crowder go at the weakest link first. He does not argue the statistic. He argues the chalk.
Your Muslim friends got beaten up because of chalk?
Amazingly, one of my friends who's not even Muslim was defined as Muslim because he dressed a certain way, and he's changed the way he dresses now.
Well, listen, nobody would ever condone beating somebody up because they dress a certain way. By the way, sometimes when I say stuff, it's a joke, okay? We used to be able to make those. Listen, if people want to talk about stopping rape culture, in the time you just took to ask that question, there were probably a dozen women who were raped in the name of Islam in the Middle East right then. And there were tons of people killed. So listen, no one is condoning violence against Islam. Obviously it's a silly litmus test as far as Donald Trump saying ban all Muslims, and it makes it hard for people like me who argue against the ideology of Islam. I think if you want to learn about the ideology of Islam, open the Quran, read 5 pages in any direction, and you will be... Yeah, we've had Muslims on my show many times. Guess what? I didn't like what they had to say. Okay? No, it's not my problem. It's my opinion. I don't like it. I didn't speak on your behalf. I talked about the Quran. Guess what? I wasn't there for the French Revolution. I can talk about it.
Everybody has a right.
And let me
If people are beating up Muslims, that's bad. The ideology of Islam has been bad for the last several decades, and it's not hate speech to say so. It's not racist. It's an ideology in a prescribed form of religion and law, and I don't like it.
Your Muslim friends got beaten up because of chalk. That one question snaps the causal chain. The friend was not even Muslim. He was targeted for how he dressed. Crowder condemns that in a single sentence. Then he hands the room a reading assignment. 5 pages in any direction, he says. He compares it to the French Revolution. You do not have to attend something to judge it. Someone shouts that everybody has a right. Nobody disagreed.
Like any other set of ideas, Islam is a set of ideas, and like any other set of ideas, we are perfectly entitled to interrogate it and find it wanting. I personally find it wanting. I would also like to say, as a gay person, I am fucking terrified by mass Muslim immigration because the homophobia in the Islamic community, in the Ummah, is not restricted to terrorists. It is not restricted to ISIS. 51% of British Muslims believe that gay sex should be against the law. This is not Muslims in Syria. This is not Muslims in Raqqa. This is Muslims who live 3 streets away from me. Every other one of them believes that my lifestyle should be illegal. 39% of British Muslims believe that a woman should always obey her husband. Where the fuck are feminists on that? 25%. 25 25% of British Muslims believe that Sharia law should be instituted, which under certain circumstances treats a woman's...
Milo, he's trying to narrow in on a question.
Well, I'm going to finish. Treats a woman's testimony as worth half of a man's. The queers for Palestine, possibly the stupidest people to walk the face of the earth, overlook the statistic that 97% of Palestinians believe that homosexuality is an unacceptable lifestyle choice. I'm not scared by terrorists, I'm scared by Islam.
That is what the question actually deserved. Milo does not argue about feelings. He reads polling at the room. 51% say gay sex should be illegal. Not Raqqa, 3 streets away from his flat. Then, queers for Palestine gets named on the spot. 97% of Palestinians call homosexuality unacceptable. Nobody in the room has a counter number. He is not scared of terrorists. He is scared of Islam. The applause answers for him.
Moving on to our next question here.
When does free speech become hate speech is the basic question, right? Yeah, that's a silly question. Hate speech is a figment of your imagination. If someone says something you don't like, you don't get to label it hate speech. That's it. No, call to action is not allowed. If I say, hey, I'm going to punch you in the face, and I do it, that's not speech, that's an action. If someone says, gosh, I really don't like your face, and it would be nice if it were punched, but I would never do it, is very different. People should be able to say what they want. If you don't like it, walk out, change the channel. We don't believe in hate speech. We answered your question. Leave.
What if someone beat up because of something that you said?
Who was beat up because of what I said? Your friend was beat up because of something that I said? That's what we call being unable to substantiate an argument, Mr. Tank.
Hate speech is a figment of your imagination. Then Crowder does something the other side never does. He draws an actual line. Speech on one side, a call to action on the other. That is the line American courts already drew. Punching someone is not speech. The student never answers that distinction. He goes back to the beating. Crowder asks who exactly was beaten over his words. No name arrives, no incident arrives. That is what an unsubstantiated argument sounds like.
Hi, yeah, I wanted to ask if you guys were aware of the things that you said before about Islam, and I wonder if you guys are aware of how that contributes to acts of violence against Muslim people and Islamophobia, but you kind of already answered it, so let me just say, fuck Trump and Black Lives Matter.
And sir, I have a question.
Change my worldview.
Are you concerned with the real rise of anti-Semitism on campus? And that at Columbia University, at Oberlin College, there are Jewish kids who are, there are threats now.
It's an amazing loss
safety.
of perspective. You know, you have these advocacy statistics about the supposed explosion of Islamophobia, which, basically always boils down to hijab pulling. Like people forgotten 9/11. I mean, are you people too young to remember that buildings were brought down in New York, Belgium a couple of weeks ago, Paris a few months before that, and you're worried about a bit of hijab pulling? Get a fucking grip.
Why do you feel compelled to defend an ideology that would throw you off a roof for looking like Rachel Maddow?
Oh, and by the way, it's not just terrorists, it is 10, 11, 12 mainstream Muslim countries that would execute me for being gay. This is not terrorism, this is Islam, and I am entitled to dislike.
2 questions, and neither one gets finished. One dissolves into a slogan the room can cheer. The other jumps from Islamophobia to anti-Semitism at Columbia and Oberlin. Milo calls it a loss of perspective. Then he lists the actual body count. New York, Brussels, Paris. Set against a bit of hijab pulling. Get a fucking grip. The room applauds again. And Crowder asks the question nobody wants to answer. 10 to 12 countries would execute Milo for being gay.
Hey, let me just start off by saying I'm Muslim, I love America, I love democracy. I don't agree with what you guys are saying, but I support your right to say it as much as I support
Thank you, sir.
protest. Thank you. Mr. Crowder, you have had a number of, shall I call them, inflammatory videos titled "There's no such thing as moderate Islam." How can you make such a definitive claim when the version of Islam that I practice, that my peers practice on a daily basis, is very moderate and differs from your perspective on the religion of Islam? Thank you very much.
I think that's a...
That is the best question of the night. He says he loves America and supports their right to speak. Then he points at Crowder's video title and at himself, and it is still the wrong question. Nobody on that stage disputes that he is moderate. That was never the claim. The claim is about power, not people. Watch Crowder refuse the easy dodge. He could have softened it and moved on. Instead, he asks for one country. One.
I think that's a fair question, and I think it's one that deserves answering. People here talk about how racist, homophobic we are, how we mistreat women. Can you point me to any Islamic country that would meet the standards that they've set for people like us tonight? Any Islamic country that women are treated equal? No, we're not confusing politics. We're talking about anywhere where Islam congregates to achieve political power on planet Earth. Is there any bastion of freedom and equal rights in the Islamic world? The only place that people point to are places like UAE, Indonesia, where people are violently mistreated if they convert to Christianity, where women are mistreated. Listen, I think that there are a lot of great Muslims here in the United States who think as you do. But the fact is, that has never actually been rooted in a place of power in the moderate Islamic world. And when I talk about these videos... Yeah, well, unfortunately, Islam, unlike Christianity or Buddhism, is an actual political system. It is a prescribed system of law. It is not merely religious ideology. It is a prescription on a legal system of government, and that's why you see remarkably anti-freedom, anti-free speech, anti-woman, anti-gay legislation in every Islamic country on the world. I don't care what you have to say about it. I'm looking to their laws. Stop speaking, fascist, You're a great public spokeswoman for Muslims.
He answers it without flinching. Name one Islamic country that meets tonight's standards. The room offers a heckle instead of a country. You're confusing politics. That is not a rebuttal. Crowder names UAE and Indonesia. He concedes there are great Muslims in America. That concession costs him nothing. His point was always about legislation, not neighbors. Then somebody screams fascist from the back. He thanks her for the demonstration.
Isn't a single world-class university anywhere in the Muslim world. Not one. Why? Because there are structural problems with Islam that prevent this from happening.
Not one world-class university in the entire Muslim world. That claim hangs in the air unchallenged. Nobody stands up with a counterexample. They shout instead. And Milo is only warming up. What comes next is the part that lands hardest. He explains why America's sample is not representative. Germany is his exhibit. Wait for that comparison.
You have
to apply the same standard.
You have two kinds of Muslims in the US. You know, some of you aren't going to like this, but I'm going to tell you anyway because it's true. You have two kinds of Muslims in the US. You have nice, assimilated, middle-class Muslims who, let's be honest, aren't the most devout believers. They don't necessarily do namaz. So some of them don't pray 5 times a day. They drink, they smoke, they have sex outside, whatever. You know, let's just say they're cultural Muslims. Like I might be a cultural Catholic, perhaps you might say, right? These are not people who pray 5 times a day. You have these people. And you have them here because you don't border any Muslim countries. You need to take an intercontinental flight to get here, which limits the sort of people who can arrive. So you get nice, middle to upper class Muslims from nice families who are westernized and assimilated, and they're your friends. And you think, gosh, these people are saying such terrible things about Muslims, but I know so many nice Muslims, that can't be true. Well, it's because of where you are in the world, right? So you have those nice middle and upper class Muslims, and you have terrorists. That's all you have here.
I don't have a problem
with you. What you don't have here is what Germany has. 1.4 million Syrian refugees, or should I say migrants, who come in, commit the most appalling crimes and abuses against women, homosexuals, trans people. You've got nothing to say about that, by the way. What you don't have is a massive influx of working class Muslim populations, and it will come, and it is coming, and when it does, you will think very differently about this.
Strip out the provocation and look at the argument. America is separated by an ocean. Europe is separated by a land border. That geography selects who arrives. Germany took over 1 million people in 1 year. Milo says America's turn is coming. You can disagree with that forecast. Nobody in that room even tried. They shouted.
One final thing, because I do appreciate taking the question. It'd be 2 phrases. Listen, my problem is not, of course, there are plenty of great Muslims out there. Not every Muslim is a terrorist. It's important for people to note that. Muhammad was. And I have a problem with that. If you look and read about Muhammad's life, he called for the deaths of Christians and Jews. I have a problem with that. And you know what? That's okay. Just like atheists have a problem with Christianity.
One question opened this whole thing. Where does opinion become hate speech? Nobody who demanded that line ever drew it. Crowder drew one instead. Speech on one side, action on the other. Milo brought polling, countries, and a personal stake in the answer. The room brought volume. It brought a slogan and a shout of fascist. That is the campus speech war in 10 minutes. The side demanding limits never defined the limit. The side refusing them named names, numbers, and laws. Do you think Milo and Crowder exposed a real double standard? Or did the students land a hit the panel dodged? Drop your thoughts in the comments.